The more senior you become as a leader, the less likely people are going to tell you the truth. It's not because they're dishonest, but because somewhere along the way, they've learned what happens when they challenge you. And that creates one of the most dangerous blind spots in leadership. I'm Dan Simmons. I've spent the last 15 years in sales and sales leadership. On this channel, I share practical ideas, mistakes I've made, and leadership blind spots that can make a real difference to the way you lead and sell. Now, most leaders think they want honest feedback. We say things like, my door's always open. Challenge me. How about tell me what you really think? But listen, here's the problem. People don't decide whether it's safe to tell you the truth because you say those things. Actually, they decide by watching what happens when someone actually does it. Think about your last leadership meeting, okay? Think hard. Someone disagrees with you. What actually happens? How do you react? Did you get curious? Or do you immediately explain why they are wrong? Someone questions your strategy. Are you exploring it? Or do you spend the next 5 minutes defending it? How about someone gives you some feedback that you don't particularly like? It might hurt your ego. Did you genuinely listen? Or do you just say, yes, but? Because every one of those moments teaches the room something. And eventually people begin to learn. It's just easier to agree. That's the feedback gap. And sales leaders need to be particularly careful with this because imagine you're reviewing a forecast and everyone in the room knows your number's unrealistic, but no one's saying anything. Or your best salesperson is thinking about leaving, but nobody tells you until they have resigned. Or there's something about your leadership that's just frustrating the team, okay? And you're the only person in the room who doesn't know. That's the cruel irony of leadership. The feedback you most need to hear is often the feedback people are least comfortable giving you. And silence doesn't mean people agree with you. Just be clear on that. Sometimes it just means they've just stopped trying. So, listen, how do you fix it? Well, first and foremost, stop asking those questions. Does anyone have any feedback? That's way too easy to answer with silence. And instead, ask something a lot more specific. What am I missing, team? What's the strongest argument against this team? And team, if you disagree with this decision, give me a reason and a better solution. And here's the important bit. When somebody answers, don't defend yourself. Instead, get a little bit curious. Ask another question. And even if you ultimately disagree with them, thank them for challenging you because you're teaching people that telling you the truth is safe. And if you want to know whether you've created that environment, just ask yourself this question. When was the last time someone on your team told you something that you genuinely didn't want to hear? If you can't remember, I wouldn't assume because you're getting everything right. You might just have a feedback gap. Look, the strongest leaders don't surround themselves with people who tell them they're right. What they do is they create an environment where people are comfortable telling them when they might be wrong. So don't just tell your team that the door's open. Make sure it's actually safe to walk through that door. Look, if you've enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you could like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon which reminds you every time we post. And for this one in particular, I'd love to know in the comments, give me a piece of uncomfortable feedback that you've received. See you next time. Until then, keep building your sales edge. Let's go.